Hi, this is a presentation for KZCloud's company container environment. My name is Kelvin Zheng, and I'll be the presenter for this demonstration. Our environment is set up on a Linux virtual machine hosted by AWS EC2. In our environment, we have a Docker container that utilizes Nginx to serve a static website. Through the use of Docker Compose, multiple identical or different copies of the original base container can be deployed. Through the usage of Docker, we give our container environment scalability and flexibility, making the process of managing the application stack far easier. Let's go into our demonstration. To begin, you want to be in the folder with your public key. Next, you'll SSH into the Linux virtual machine hosted on AWS EC2. Next, you want to CD into your project. From here, in this directory, we have access to all the files for our static website, our Docker files, and our Docker Compose files. Let's first build the Docker image. Now that we have officially built our image, we can then look at our images. Next, let's run our Docker image. All right, now our Nginx server is running, and we can now visit our static web page at the appropriate IP address. Let's stop this. In addition to serving up a single static web page, our container environment allows you to easily create multiple identical copies of our base container. This is done using Docker Compose. As you can see here, we have a Docker Compose file. This is our Docker Compose file. Let's run our Docker Compose file. Because we have multiple Docker Compose files in this directory, you may want to specify the name of the Docker Compose files specifically, which in this case is dockerfile.yml. Now we have 5 running instances of our static web servers, and they are at the IP address at port 8080, 8081, 8082, 8083, and 8084. These pages will all be exactly identical. Let's stop this. In addition to running 5 identical copies of the base container, we can also additionally run 5 unique copies of the base container. This is done in our unique5.yml file. As you can see, in this file, there are additional details that essentially determine config files for each specific server. These config files can be found in the Nginx directory. So let's go into the Nginx directory. In here, we have the respective config files that change what the base page for any respective server might be. So let's look at server2.com. As you can see here, we have now officially changed the base folder HTML folder to portfolio.html. Let's run this Docker Compose file. Once again, because there's multiple Docker Compose files, we must specify which file we want to be using. It is now up and running. So the first one is going to be the default base page. The second one, however, will be a different page, the portfolio page. The third one will be the skills page. The fourth one will be an image. And the fifth one will also be an image. Let's stop our servers. This concludes the presentation for KZCloud's container environment. Our container environment allows users to run their static website application in any environment. It enables for great scalability and flexibility. With the use of Docker Compose, users can easily start multiple identical copies of the container simultaneously. Additionally, they can also use Docker Compose to run multiple unique copies of the same base container. Consider working with KZCloud, an environment suited for you. Thank you for listening.